Celine Juno up at the line along with, it looks like Langlois. And the ball starts, it was actually Lauren. It was now given up to McCullough. McCullough comes to the open side here to the near sideline. It goes onto the feet of Langlois. Langlois will work on her way down, and coming over to defend was Briggs. Briggs knocks it away, but it's picked up by Langlois. Langlois still working her way down, knocks it off. It goes onto the feet of the defense of Ken Allen. Knocks it out of bounds. Deep throw in for Chazy. The ball comes into Juno. Juno will control. She goes back to Langlois. Langlois goes back to Juno. Juno working her way to the 18. There's a deflection off toward the net. It deflects at the feet of Marcel. Marcel sends it to the post, but back there is Juno. She gives it to Langlois. Langlois right back to Juno. Juno will send it on the ground, and going on the ground to make the save was Gador, and the good thing McAuliffe was there, so Gador goes down the ground, gets the ball, and she'll work her way to the 18, and a high punt into the air just shy, and it's controlled by McLennan. McLennan will send the ball to the open space going toward the end line of the Vikings. Off her line is Gador, but she lets it go off the end line, so she'll get a goal kick. And Moriah will set up. We're early into this game, 1 minute and 15 seconds. She sets up for the goal kick, and she'll let Sage Baker take the kick for the Vikings. Baker sends a kick to the near sideline. Trying to get to the ball was Garrison. It gets by Garrison out of bounds. Throw in for Chazy. Langlois gets it in quickly to McLennan. McLennan back to Langlois. One times it to Juno. She comes back to Langlois, just a little far ahead of her off the end line. So a throw in for the Vikings. Moriah is going from right to left. Chazy from left to right. The ball is deep into Moriah territory. They have a throw in near sideline. Ball comes in by Allen. It deflects off of Huckrow, picked up by Smith. Smith sends it to Chapman. Chapman now sends it to the middle of the field to McCullough. McCullough has the ball, working her way forward, outside her foot to Langlois. Langlois one time to the top of the key. McLennan trying to get to the ball. It's Juno. Juno outside her foot, gets a shot off. It's a weak shot. It goes to Gador. She picks it up quickly, works her way to the 18, and it's a quick punt. It lands short. Hers heads it to the ground, but stepping up is Briggs. Briggs a kick to the right side, far side to Anderson. Anderson controlling, sends it to the middle of the field. It's knocked away by Hers. Hers has it taken away by Anderson. Anderson gives it up to Marcel. Marcel sends it to the middle of the field, gets by Smith, but Chapman's there for Chazy to send it forward, but it goes to the feet of Garrison. Garrison in Chazy territory sends it forward. It goes off of Smith, picked up by McLennan. McLennan with the ball, working away toward midfield, gives it to McAuliffe. McAuliffe one times it to Langlois. Langlois on the outside will look to pick up her speed. She gets by Allen. Langlois now sends it forward to Juno. Juno has it knocked away by Marcel, but it goes off of Langlois off the end line. So a goal kick coming up for the Vikings. And so, Keith, have you seen the Vikings play much this year?
Yeah, I've seen them play a few times. They run their offense through McKenna Valentine, and they look to generate with speed. They've got a good defense. Hannah Gador has done a good job replacing Sam Hayes in net for the Vikings, who was their longtime keeper. So I think the big thing today is just to key on, for Chazy, would be to key on Valentine and make sure she doesn't let her big foot make a play.
All right, well, the ball went off the end line, and it will be a corner kick for Chazy. So Chazy will, again, they're going from left to right. It's the near side or near corner for the corner kick, and it's Hadley Lucas takes the corner kicks for Chazy, and she's setting up at the 36-minute mark. She sends a low, hard kick into the box. It lands on the ground, and it's cleared out quickly by the defense. Goes onto the foot of Huckrow. Huckrow trying to find Valentine. She pushes it back to Garrison. Garrison now sends a through ball. Chapman is back there for Chazy. Calmly sends it forward onto the feet of McAuliffe. Now with McAuliffe's speed, she's trying to break the defense. She's just now to the near sideline, and she rips it off of Kent Allen, but it comes back to her. She sends it forward as she was trying to find Juno, but it is deflected by Garrison. Garrison pushes it back to Allen. Allen now goes to the middle of the field, picked up by Chapman. Chapman over to Hers. Hers will switch fields. Nice play by the Eagles. It goes on to the feet of Lucas. Lucas one times it up over to McLennan. McLennan will work her way to the 18, goes to the near sideline trying to find Langlois. She does it. It goes off the head of Garrison. Langlois now looking to serve the ball, sends it across, but it goes off the end line. So a goal kick for the Vikings. Ball early play has been in Viking territory. Chazy's been controlling the early play here in the first 5 minutes of the game. One shot on net for Chazy, one corner kick for Chazy. No score in this championship game. Ball comes forward by Garrison. Langlois intercepts it, sends it back toward the net. Hustling is Juno, but coming off the line is Gador. Gador at the 18 sends a punt high in the air. It's short because of the wind, and trying to control was Briggs. She sends it toward midfield, trying to find Valentine, but back there is Damaris for Chazy. Damaris is being challenged by Anderson. She sends the ball forward, trying to find somebody, but nobody there for Chazy. It goes off the sideline, throw in for the Vikings. Ball comes into play. It goes off of the head of Lucas, trying to find McCullough at midfield, taken by McLennan. McLennan has it knocked away by number 12, Briggs. Comes to the near sideline, picked up by number 8, Langlois. Tried to go back to Juno, comes back to Langlois. She gets it to McLennan. McLennan chips it up. It goes off of Baker. Baker puts it onto the feet of Allen. Allen goes forward, picked up by McLennan to Juno. Juno quickly to Langlois. Langlois trying to find Haley Lauren, but it's cleared out by the defense. At midfield, it's Valentine with the ball. Valentine working her way out down the field, pushes it to the outside to Anderson. They're going from right to left, far sideline. It's Anderson. Anderson pushes it back to the open space. Back there is McLennan. McLennan one times it to Lucas. Lucas cuts it back to the inside at midfield, tries to switch fields, but back there is Garrison for the Vikings. She intercepts the ball at midfield, sends the ball forward. It goes off of McLennan. Deflects over to Langlois. Langlois one times it to Juno. Juno cuts it to the middle of the field. It's Juno now with some space, going forward but being chased by Briggs. She goes to the near sideline, trying to get a through ball up to number 9, Haley Lauren, too far ahead of her. Off the end line, a goal kick for Moriah. And Keith, it looks like Chazy is having their way early in this first half.
Yeah, for sure. They're keeping it in there, and I think, like you had said earlier, wind is a factor here early in this game. It was, I don't think, as much of a factor in the boys' game, but wind is definitely a factor early on, holding up a couple punts, but also seems like Moriah's in a little bit of a defensive posture.
And the ball comes forward off of the feet of Allen, and it goes to the near sideline, and that will go off of Langlois, and the ball will be a throw-in for the Vikings. It looks like Garrison will take the throw-in for the Lady Vikings. As we approach the 32-minute mark, we have no scorer at the George Bremner Field in this championship game. Ball comes into Briggs. She sends it right back to Garrison. Garrison sends it to midfield. Hers knocks it on the ground to McLennan. McLennan trying to find Juno, goes off of Juno, and it goes off the sideline. Quick throw-in by Allen. Stepping up is Smith to head the ball up toward Juno, but a nice job by Allen to intercept that ball. She gets it to the feet of Huckrow at midfield. Huckrow trying to get the ball to Valentine, but a good job by hers to intercept that pass. She keeps it simple over to McLennan. She pushes it back to Smith. Smith gives it to Chapman. Chapman goes forward to Juno. Chazy keeping it on the ground. Nice pass work. Goes over to Langlois. Langlois back to Juno. So they're doing that nice triangle today between Langlois and Juno. It goes off the sideline by Allen and throw in for Chazy. We're approaching the 31-minute mark. We have no score. There'll be a throw in for Langlois for Chazy deep into Viking territory. Ball comes into play to McAuliffe. McAuliffe tried to one-time it back to Langlois. It goes out of bounds. Throw in for the Vikings, and it will be Allen for the Vikings taking the throw in. Ball will come into play near sideline. Stepping up is Smith. She gets to the ball, knocks it on the ground to Langlois. Langlois gets it to Juno, too far ahead of her, and the ball is sent forward by Marcel. Picked up by McLennan. She sends it to the 18. It deflects back out. McLennan going to get to the ball, but she's defended by Baker. Baker gets to the ball, pushes it to the outside, but it's picked up by Lucas of Chazy. She gives it to hers, but a nice job by Valentine coming from behind, but recovered by hers, gets it up over to Lucas. Lucas sends it forward, and Briggs intercepts that ball, and the ball goes on to the feet of Baker. Baker sends it toward midfield. Hers is there, just too far ahead of her, goes on to the feet of Huckrow. Huckrow knocks it high in the air, picked up by Lucas. Then Huckrow comes back, takes the ball, tries to find Valentine. Valentine sends it to the outside to Anderson. Anderson comes back to Valentine, off the head of Valentine, in front of her, but back there is hers. Hers trying to get to it. It goes to Anderson, and Anderson gets a shot from distance. And in net today, in this championship game for the Lady Eagles, is Samantha Gagno. Gagno sends the ball forward. It goes off the feet of Paige Towns, and that will work its way out of bounds. Throw in for the Eagles, far side. It will be Katie DeMars of Chazy with the throw in. Halfway in their defensive zone, they're going from left to right, far sideline. Ball comes into hers. Hers pushes it back over to DeMars. DeMars tries to one-time it forward, but it's picked up by Towns. Towns sends a through ball, trying to get hold of Valentine. Goes past Valentine, off the line is Gagno. She's right at the 18, letting her players set up. She will now send the punt. It's a low punt, but back there is hers, but stepping up is Briggs. Briggs does a nice job coming behind McLennan to send it forward. Now it's to the far side. It's on to the feet of Anderson. Anderson being defended by DeMars. DeMars knocks it out of bounds, so some nice movement by the Vikings. And stepping up for the throw-in is Briggs. She heads down. Ball is deep into Chazy territory, far sideline, about 10 yards or so from the corner. Ball comes into place. Valentine pushes it back. Ball sent forward, and that will work its way off the end line. So, Keith, I thought some nice movement by the Vikings on that offensive run.
Yeah, I really think so. I think they definitely show that that they focus on passing a little bit there. They had a couple nice 2 touches and work to the corner, and then on that, I mean, I always like on throw-ins where a lot of times the person who throws the ball in is going to be the person that's open, and the play by Valentine to push it back to Briggs was a nice play to set up that cross.
And the ball is back in play, and it goes out of bounds on the far sideline, about 15 yards short of midfield. Moriah going from right to left. It's a throw-in for the Vikings. It's Emma Hayes. Hayes gets the ball into play. It goes by Anderson. Back there defensively is Chapman. She chips it up into the air, but it's picked up by Towns. Towns now sends it forward. Off her line is Gagno, and she will get there. Valentine was coming in, but she was being shielded by Chapman. And Gagno gets to the ball, no problem. She'll work her way to the 18, taking her time, letting the team set up. Gagno with the kick. It's a short kick, short punt. McAuliffe intercepts it, heads it up over to McLennan. McLennan now at midfield. She's looking to serve the ball. She sends it to the near sideline, trying to find Langlois, but it goes off the head of Garrison. She recovers, sends it forward, and it's cleared out by Allen. McLennan with the ball. McLennan will now send it up to Juno. Juno one-times it to Langlois. Langlois working her way down the end line, and Langlois can't get to it. It goes off the end line, so a goal kick for the Vikings. Gador will set the ball up, but taking the kick for the Vikings will be Allen. Kennedy Allen for the Vikings will take the goal kick. We're at the 27-minute mark. We have no score at the George Brendler Field in this championship game between the Eagles and the Vikings of Moriah. Ball is in play. McLennan now sends it back toward the net on the near sideline, and it's intercepted by Lauren. Lauren gives it up to Langlois. Langlois now sends it back into the box. Lauren sends it up, and it's McAuliffe. Bicycle kick sends it past the net. It was a nice serve by Langlois. McAuliffe's back was to the net. She did like a bicycle kick, a back kick, went wide of the net. So we're going to have a goal kick for the Vikings. And Kennedy Allen will set up her own kick here. She's surveying the situation, looking more to the far side, and she will send the ball to the far side. It's a short kick. She was trying to find the feet of Towns, but the ball is taken away by the Eagles. Coming off, and there's Langlois, gets a shot, hits a crossbar, and Celine Juno is there for the rebound, and she walks it into the net. But a nice play. It was Langlois rips a shot, hits the crossbar. Juno was where she needed to be. Ball comes down, and Juno basically walked it into the net. Nice play by the Eagles, Keith.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, it started too with the switching of the fields. I can't remember who had the long ball, but to get it to Langlois, and then to and as they always say, you've got to crash on a shot. Your offensive players have to crash on that shot, and they did just that, especially with Juno. And like you said, just literally walked it into the net.
So Chazy goes up 1-0 on a Juno score. Langlois will get the assist as she took it off the crossbar. But one thing Juno does well, she crashes the net and she's where she needs to be, and she was rewarded for that effort. And Chazy goes up 1-0. It is Lucas at midfield, gives it up to McCullough. McCullough trying to get around Towns. She knocks it to the outside. Stepping up is Allen for Moriah. She's working her way toward midfield, being challenged by Langlois. The ball goes forward, picked up by Smith. She keeps it simple onto the feet of Langlois. Langlois, she tries to one-time it over to Juno, and the ball is cleared forward by Garrison. And back there is Chapman. It goes off of Chapman. So we have a throw-in for the Vikings. They're about 15 yards into Chazy territory. They're going from right to left. It's just below us from the press box. And it's Valentine, and we'll take the throw-in. She sends a nice throw-in. It goes on to Anderson. Anderson pushes it back to Huckrow. Huckrow sends the ball into the box. And it is Gagne comes out and kicks it out, but it's picked up by number 9, Garrison. Garrison trying to get a shot off. She takes a shot. It goes off of McClellan. Now the ball goes to the far side. It is DeMars of Chazy defensively. Chips it up over to Lucas. Lucas turns, has some space, but coming up to defend was Towns. Towns sends it forward to Valentine. Valentine has the ball. She goes to the far side to Anderson, and that's too far ahead of her. It goes off the sideline. Throw in for Chazy. We're at 24-36. It's Chazy 1, Moriah nothing here in the first half. Lucas gets the ball up to McCullough. McCullough turns, gets by Briggs at midfield. She now sends the ball forward. It's McCullough working her way down the far sideline, outside her foot, trying to get the ball to Lauren. Off the line is Gador, and a good thing Gador came off her line. Lauren was going hard at that ball, but a nice play by the goalie, Hannah Gador. She sends a nice punt high in the air. The ball bounces under Lucas. Lucas turns, recovers, but is being challenged by Anderson. Anderson cuts it to the outside. It's Lucas, takes it back away, sends it forward. He finds the feet of Juno, but Juno's defended by Briggs. At midfield, it's McClellan. McClellan gets the ball up over to Lauren. Gets by Lauren, picked up by Anderson. Anderson goes to the near sideline, trying to find Allen. It is Langlois, takes it away from Allen. Langlois will now take it down the line, looking to serve. She sends it across, and McCullough was right there and deflected it over the net. A good play by Langlois to serve McCullough, and she just missed that, Keith.
Yeah, she got the foot on it. I think you did exactly what you want to do. You want to flip that thing and try to get it on net, and it just went over.
So a good give and go by the Eagles, and the Vikings dodge a bullet. So the ball will be a goal kick for the Vikings, and it will be Kennedy Allen taking the goal kick for the Vikings as we approach the 23-minute mark. Ball goes into play. It's a short kick. It's picked up by Langlois. Langlois trying to find Juno. Juno just quickly knocks it to the outside. She gets by Kennedy Allen. She's to the near sideline. She pushes it back to Langlois. Langlois there really working that triangle today. Tried to go back to Celine Juno. It was just too far ahead of her off the line, but right idea. Goal kick coming up for the Vikings.
Yeah, and I think the one thing they're doing, again, like I said earlier, the one thing they're doing well, not only on that give and go, but on both of these best chances that Chazy's had, there's really come from either attacking the middle or attacking the far side of the field and then switching it. And that switch, I mean, you get teams moving, and if you can get moving back and forth, you've got them in trouble.
So right now it's a short kick. The Eagles were controlling, but it's picked up by Towns. Towns working her way to the outside, sends it toward midfield. Back there is DeMars. DeMars one-times it, but it's picked up by Towns. Towns now sends it to the outside to Anderson. Anderson working her way down into Chazy territory. Chapman does a nice job. The senior defender flips the ball, controls it, and now gets it to Hadley Lucas. Lucas working her way toward midfield. Lucas still with the ball is being challenged by Briggs. It is Lucas and Briggs. Lucas and Briggs. And the ball goes out of bounds. There was hard play, no foul. Signal is looking for the foul. Bayshard says no foul. And it will be a kick for the, actually called the foul on Lucas. So they called Lucas for the foul. So the Vikings will get the kick, and it will be, it looks like Valentine is going to take the kick. So I'm a little surprised they're letting Valentine take the kick back this far.
Yeah, I just think that she's their number one leg. So they do have some kids that can sneak in and get goals, but I think right now, especially with the wind, they want this foot. And this thing's nearing the 18.
And it goes off of McCullough, but back there is DeMar. She just chips it outside the 18, but the ball is now sent forward by Valentine. Off the line is Gagno, and Gagno gets there. and she smothers the ball. She'll work her way to the 18. So Valentine took the kick. It went off McAuliffe's head, and Valentine charged, got the ball, and sent it forward, but Gagne was there. And it's hers trying to control the ball, but it's taken by Huckrow. Huckrow sends it forward. McAuliffe now sends it to the near sideline, goes off of Langlois, and it's picked up by Juno. Juno chips it to the open space, but a good job by Allen, and she shields it. It goes out of bounds. Throw-in comes in. That goes off of the head of Huckrow back. Chapman of Chazy tries to get it over to Smith. It goes off of the leg of Huckrow. Throw in for Chazy. Smith gets the ball in, but quickly it's sent by Garrison into the defensive zone of Chazy. Chapman chips the ball to Smith, but it's intercepted by Huckrow. Huckrow sends a through ball. Valentine gets a shot off, but it just kind of bounces toward the net. No danger for Gagno. She gets the ball, and she'll work her way to the 18. Gagno, kick, short of midfield, goes off of the legs of Towns to the outside. She'll looking to recover to get to the ball in time. She keeps it in play, gets it to Anderson. Anderson goes back to Towns. Towns now chips it to the middle of the field. It goes to McLennan. McLennan pushes it to the outside, finds Lucas. Lucas turns, sends the ball forward, trying to find Lauren. Now it's picked up by McCullough. McCullough with the ball, cuts it to the middle of the field. It's McCullough working her way down. Pushes it through to Juno. Juno has some room. Juno gets the shot off, and Gador is there. Nice work by McCullough to get it to Juno. Gador came up big.
And I think Gador did the right thing by coming out. Sometimes you want your keeper to hold the line, but by coming out, she really cut down the angle there. And the other thing I'm noticing too right now is that last shot by Valentine a couple minutes ago. Hers did a nice job elbowing up with her and making contact. Hers is doing a good job. She's now she's been marking her for, I think, a good part of this half.
Well, the ball goes toward the net. Chazy putting some pressure on just outside the 18. Juno trying to control, pushes it back to Langlois. Langlois trying to cut it to the inside, defended well by Garrison. Garrison sends it forward. Hers is there. She keeps it simple to the near side over to Smith. Smith now goes forward, finds Langlois. Langlois sends it to the 18, trying to find Lauren, but it's knocked away by Marcel. Marcel picked up by Langlois. Langlois back to McLennan. McLennan trying to find Juno at the top of the key, but it's cleared out by Allen. Allen switches fields to the far side. It's on to the feet of Towns. Towns working her way up. Gives the ball to Anderson, back to Towns. Towns now trying to find Valentine, and it's Valentine trying to cut it to the inside. And here's Valentine looking to get a shot off, and Chapman does a heck of a job defending. Coming off the line is Gagno, and we have a whistle, and it looks like
Mass break.
And we have a mass break at 17:57, and on that play key, Valentine broke through. Chapman is an all-star defender, stayed with her, and then Gagno comes off the line. So you had two all-star players, and that was quite a moment.
That was really turned into a one-on-one. I think it shows Moriah's ability to counterattack. I think they look at that more than anything to get their goals, is that counterattack. And with that, it was a good job by Chapman, like you said. I think over the past 2 years, Chapman has come so far as a sweeper and really as an anchor, and I think has really worked herself into the best one in what we call Division II. And then for Gagno to come off her line and to play aggressive like that. We've seen both goalies here in the past couple minutes make aggressive plays. And my goalies, I always say, plays of aggression usually lead to positive mistakes, whereas if you stay on your line, sometimes that can lead to negative.
Well, we talk about Valentine, and McKenna Valentine has 18 goals and 7 assists this year for 43 points, and I'm assuming she's probably the leader in the area.
I would definitely think so. I think the ones that would come close to her is maybe Danielle Dyke out of Beekman Town. I know that the Ford girl, I think, is in double digits, but not that high. She had 2 more today. So, but yeah, no, I think McKenna Valentine has established herself as one of the premier scorers in the section over the past 2 years, and has really, I think a lot of attention was given to Ford last year because she was at or near the top of the state scoring list. But Valentine was top 10, not only in goals and in points. So she was right there too. We really had, the North Country really had a lot, not just the 2 in Section 7, but there was a girl in Lake George that was top 10 in scoring. So Lot of girls that have a nose for the goal around here.
Well, McKenna Valentine, as you sit up here in the press box and you watch this young lady, she is the real deal. But so isn't McKenna or Mackenzie Chapman the real deal defensively. And it was just two quality players going after each other and a heads-up play by the goalie Gagnon for Chazy. So the mass break is done. It looks like it's going to be a corner kick.
Yep.
So Gagnon, was it because she was outside the line? I mean, why? Or she might have slid off the end line.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So-
think it was either that or it was already out before Gagnon got a touch on it.
So they're going to set up for the corner kick, and of course, no other than McKenna Valentine will go take the corner kick for the Vikings. We're at 17:57. We're just back from the mass break, and the Vikings are going from right to left, far post. It's going to be McKenna Valentine taking the corner kick for the Vikings. She serves the ball up well inside the box. It goes off the head of a Chazy defender. The ball is tipped toward the net, and now it's cleared outside the 18. Hustling up for Chazy is Lauren. Lauren gets the loose ball, working her way down the line, and she takes it off of number 12, Briggs. Briggs did a nice job coming back defensively. Lauren saw that, took it off of Briggs, off the sideline. So just below us, it's going to be Langlois with the throw-in for Chazy. And she sends the ball down the line, finding her counterpart, Juno. Juno will control the ball, trying to find McLennan, intercepted by Garrison. Garrison sends it forward, trying to find Valentine. Stepping up is Chapman. She knocks away, gets the ball herself. She's in the offensive zone, goes to the near sideline, and the open Langlois working her way down the line. Langlois sends it forward. It goes off of Allen, picked up by Marcel. Marcel will work her way forward. Marcel will send the ball forward. It goes back. Chapman's there for Chazy. She quickly sends it back into the offensive zone for the Eagles. Goes on to the feet of McAuliffe. McAuliffe comes to the near sideline, finds Langlois. Langlois with the ball, will take it toward the middle of the field, keeps a simple pass over to McLennan. McLennan has some space. McLennan will take a shot from distance, and that goes off the end line. And we have a goal kick for Chazy. So not a bad effort from McLennan from distance to take that shot.
No, not at all. I think if you get a chance to test a goalie and you see an open net, you go ahead and take it. It's something I've always preached to my players is even if you're at distance, try to at least test the goalie. We had a goal today in down at that Boquet Valley Willsboro game where the girl took a shot and it happened to go in, and might not have been the best shot at the time, but as we say, it looks like a rocket in the scorebook.
Well, the thing is, you can't score unless you shoot.
No, exactly.
So the ball is in play. It just goes off the sideline halfway into the defensive zone of Chazy. So it will be DeMars with the throw, and she gets it up to Chapman. Chapman now being challenged by Valentine. Valentine pushes it back to Anderson. Anderson tries to go back to Valentine. She finds her. Valentine goes to the outside, back to the feet of Anderson. And Moriah doing their own little triangle comes from Anderson to Valentine. Valentine quickly turns and shoots, but it's a weak shot. Coming off the line, wide of the net is Gagnon. She picks up the ball. She'll work her way to the 18. As we approach the 15-minute mark, we have no score. I'm Joey Trombley along with Keith Laudell carrying this game for you here at the George Bremner Field. Ball is controlled by Garrison. Garrison to the inside, working her way down to the end line, sends the ball across into the box, picked up by Hers. Hers sends the ball forward, trying to find Langlois. Langlois from behind that, taken away by Allen, and the ball goes down the Chazy line. It's picked up by number 7, Huckrow. And Cunningham battling for the ball. She gets it to Chapman. Chapman gets it to Smith. Smith tried to go to Langlois, and the ball was intercepted by Garrison. Garrison coming down, takes it off of Chapman. So we have a deep throw in for Moriah into the defensive end of Chazy. Deep in the defensive end of Chazy. They're going from right to left, and they're near the end line. The ball comes into play. It comes onto the feet of Briggs. Briggs has it knocked away by McAuliffe out of bounds. She tried to deflect it off of Briggs, but it goes out of bounds. So throw in for the Vikings. It will be Briggs with the throw in. Ball comes into play. It goes off of Smith, and that will work its way off the end line. So the Vikings move the chain, if you will, if you're talking football. They bring it down another 10 yards, and they'll take a throw in deep into Chazy territory. Ball comes in. It goes off of the feet of Towns toward the end line. Valentine trying to keep it in. Valentine and Chapman. There's a shot, and she makes the turn on Chapman, gets the shot off from distance, but over the net. It'll be a goal kick for Chazy, but some good effort by Valentine.
Absolutely, and you can tell that she's used to being marked. She's used to being the pressured girl. She kind of reminds me a little bit of the Winslow girl that played for Minerva Newcomb a few years back. She can shoot with low angles and with little time, and a lot of times I've seen her make that low angle shot before.
So the ball's at midfield, and there's a through ball. Lauren coming to the ball. Coming off the line is Gador. Gador gets there first. She has to kick it. It comes to the near sideline, and it's picked up by Huckrow. Huckrow sends it forward as she's trying to find Garrison. Garrison is being challenged, and it goes out of bounds. So throwing for Chazy. A good job by Smith and Langlois to converge on Garrison, and the ball goes out of bounds. Throw in for the Eagles. Smith sends the ball in. It goes off of the feet of Briggs, but it's picked up by Juno. Juno cuts fields to the far sideline, trying to get Hadley Lucas hustling. Vikings. Hayes gets there ahead of Lucas, knocks it out of bounds. Good job by Hayes, giving her team a chance to set up. Lucas will take the throw in. They're going from left to right, meaning Chazy. About halfway in, far side, throw in by Lucas. Ball comes into play. It's bouncing around. It's trying to be cleared out by Hayes, and it's taken away by Juno. Juno gets the shot off, and Gador stood her ground, and Gador is a strong goalie for the Vikings.
She really is. I think that she's built up over the last couple years, come up through their system. Like I said earlier, they had Sam Hayes in net, and she was a very good goalie in her own right. But Gador's come through the system. She's got good height. She's got good range. She's a basketball player, so really good with reflexes, really good with those high balls. And yeah, she's been a very good keeper for them this year, and I think a positive for them moving forward into the next season.
Well, the ball is picked up by McLennan. McLennan sends it forward to Juno. Juno trying to control just inside the midfield. And it goes back to McLennan. McLennan tries to find Langlois, but a good job by Allen. Allen sends it toward midfield, and the ball is controlled by Towns. Towns will switch fields, goes to the far side. She finds Emma Hayes. Hayes has it knocked away, but it goes on the feet of Baker. Baker sends it into the offensive zone for the Vikings. Far side is picked up by Anderson. Anderson being challenged by DeMars. Anderson takes it off of DeMars, off the sideline, throw in for the Vikings. And Valentine will take the throw-in. She's halfway in, far side. They're going from right to left into Chazy territory. The ball comes in, a strong throw. Comes into the top of the 18. Looking to try to get a shot off are the Vikings. It was Anderson and Garrison, but defended well by the Eagles. They clear it outside off the end line, or the sideline, so another throw-in for the Vikings. We're at the 11-minute mark. 1-0 Chazy in this championship game. Valentine with the throw-in. Ball comes in off the feet of Briggs. Briggs tries to go back. It's knocked away by the Eagles. Picked up by Hadley Lucas. Lucas with space, working away toward midfield. Lucas trying to send the ball over to Juno. It deflects off of Garrison. Ball sent toward midfield. McLennan trying to control it. She knocks it up over to McCullough. McCullough with the ball with her speed, trying to split the defense. McCullough going forward, and it was nice defended by Marcel. Ball at midfield. It's picked up by Garrison. Garrison of Moriah working away down the sideline. Smith trying to defend Garrison. Smith and Garrison. Garrison cuts it back. Garrison trying to heel it back to get around Smith. Knocks it off the sideline. So some nice work by number 9, Reagan Garrison.
Yeah, and she hasn't had the numbers that she had last season. That she had a really good stat line last season, but she's still obviously an important part of this team.
Well, you know, she's still number 2 in points for the team.
Yeah.
And right now it is number 7, Huckrow, trying to get a shot off. Smith coming over to defend, and she was taken down from behind by Huckrow. I mean, it was an innocent play. They were both moving forward, and Huckrow kind of got tangled up and accidentally pushed Smith down. So Chazy will get the kick.
Yeah, and I think so far the flow of the game on the foul side has been pretty even. We've seen one I think little altercation, but other than that, they've been playing some good physical soccer at times.
Yeah, this is what you'd expect in championship soccer. It's just a really good game. Here's a shot from distance from Towns, and Gandhi just stood her ground, and the ball floated into her hands. She'll work her way to the 18. We're under 10 minutes left in the first half in this very entertaining championship game between the Vikings and the Eagles. Eagles lead 1-0. They lead in the shot category 7-5, and corner kicks are 1-1. Far sideline, and the ball is cleared out of bounds by Marcel. and Chazy will have a throw in halfway into Viking territory. Again, they're going from left to right, far sideline. Throw in for the Vikings. They move the ball back. Lucas with the throw in. Ball comes into play to Juno. Juno controlling, far side, turns, sends it to the 18, trying to find Lauren, and that will be a handball on McCullough. As Lauren tried to send the ball forward, it hit McCullough in the hand, so handball on the Eagles, and it will be Towns taking the kick for the Vikings at the 8:38 mark left in the first half. It is Lucas, keeps it a simple pass, trying to find McClendon. McClendon one times it to Juno. Juno controls, gives it up to McCullough. McCullough now working away to the 18. Nice job by Huckrow to knock it away from her. Puts it toward midfield, trying to find Anderson, but a nice job by Willow Hurst to step up for Chazy. And Hurst keeps it in play, sends it forward, far side. Back there defensively is Hayes of the Vikings. She sends it forward, and that will go out of bounds. So a throw in for Chazy, far sideline. And I would say Chazy's controlled a better part of this game, but Moriah's had their turn out there.
Yeah, I think so. I think we just saw maybe a 3-4 minute stretch there for Moriah, but once again, we've seen how they can be dangerous on the counterattack, and that's something I think they look for a lot with some of their speed up top, and the skill that they have. They are a good passing team, and they can make connections and make them quickly at times.
Ball's back into play at midfield, controlled by Valentine. Valentine trying to find Anderson. Good job by Hers. Hers defends well against Anderson, gets the ball up over to Lucas. Lucas has it knocked away by Towns. Towns working her way down, being challenged by Lucas. It's Lucas and Towns. Lucas takes it off of Towns, out of bounds, throwing for Chazy, and Lucas quickly grabs the ball, sends it into play, goes off the head of Lauren, off the sideline, so a throw in for the Vikings. We're at 7 minutes. It's 1-0 Chazy. Earlier today, here on the George Brendler Field, a game that was carried by Wiry, Chazy boys win the game 3-0 over their arch rival, the Boquet Valley Griffins. Ball comes into play. McCullough gets by McCullough, and it's on to the feet of Huckrow. Huckrow goes to the middle of the field. She's trying to find Garrison, and it goes back over to Towns. Towns has it knocked away by Lucas. She sends it into the Viking territory, and quickly it is Emma Hayes sends the ball up high to the far sideline, trying to find Anderson, but we have a handball on Anderson, so Chazy will get the kick far side. They're going from left to right, probably 15 yards shy of midfield. Hadley Lucas will take this kick for the Eagles as they lead 1-0 and 7-5 in the shot category on a very entertaining championship game at the George Brendler Field. Ball is sent forward. It lands on the ground. Now it bounces by everybody. Back there is Garrison, and Garrison quickly gets rid of the ball, sends it to the far side out of bounds as Celine Juno was coming in on her, and she probably felt her behind her shoulder, sends it out of bounds. So Chazy's going to have a deep throw in, far sideline. It will be Hadley Lucas taking the throw in for Chazy, and she's letting the players settle up here, and now here comes the ball into play, and it lands on the ground, knocks onto the feet of Briggs. Briggs is outside the 18, goes to Juno. Juno switches fields, comes all the way over to the near sideline to Langlois. Langlois trying to cut it to the inside, but she's defended well by Allen. Allen knocks it out of bounds, throwing for Chazy. It is going to be Langlois. Langlois gets it into Juno. Juno trying to cut it to the inside, but again defended well by the Vikings. Nice play by Huckrow. Ball goes back, and now it's kicked out of bounds by Marcel. Deep throw in for Chazy. Langlois gets the ball into McLennan. McLennan trying to turn by the end line. She does, but the ball goes off the end line, so we have a goal kick for the Vikings, and Gador will set the ball up, and it looks like it's going to be Emma Hayes taking the kick for the Vikings on the defensive end. Hayes sends the ball forward. It goes off the head of Lauren, back to Hayes. Hayes sends the ball forward, deflects off of Lauren, far side. There's a battle between Towns, and Towns wins that. Sends it forward, but just out of the reach of Anderson. So throw in for Chazy, far sideline. Throw in comes into play. trying to find McCullough, and it's picked up by Towns. McCullough comes in from behind, but on the outside is Anderson. Anderson picks it up, sends it forward, trying to find Ballantyne. Chapman sends the ball forward, but it goes by everybody, out of bounds, far sideline. Throw-in for the Vikings. It will be Avery Briggs with the throw-in for Moriah under 4 minutes left in the first half. Ball comes into play. It goes off of McLennan, and the ball is sent to the middle of the field as she's trying to find Garrison. Garrison being defended by Smith. She gets the ball up to Langlois. Langlois sends the ball forward, but back there is Allen. Allen shields the ball away from Juno, out of bounds, throw in for Allen. Allen sends it in, it goes off of Smith, so Moriah moves the ball down, and it's going to be Allen. Allen with the throw in. Ball in play, goes over Smith, back there is Chapman. Chapman controlling. Forward. Find Lauren, it goes off of the head of Marcel, of Moriah, but onto the feet of Juno, working her way to get Lauren. Lauren now trying to cut it to the inside. She's defended well. Lauren still battling for the ball. Hit by Marcel. Gets it over to Baker. Baker goes to the outside, and she finds the feet of Towns. Towns sends the ball forward toward midfield. DeMars with the ball for Chazy. Takes it off. It goes off of DeMars. DeMars tried to take it off of Anderson, but it goes off the sideline. Throw in for the Vikings, and the ball is coming into play. Trying to find Ballantyne, but back there is Hers. Hers is defending well. Hers sends the ball forward, finds Juno at midfield, who's by herself. She comes to the near sideline over to Langlois. Langlois will work her way down the line. She's being guarded by Allen. Langlois trying to cut it to the inside. Allen back there, as well as Marcel. Langlois still battling Marcel. Marcel wins that battle. She sends it forward. She's trying to get it to Huckrow. Huckrow trying to keep it in play. Goes off the sideline, so a throw in for Chazy. We're approaching the 2-minute mark. Smith sends the ball in play. The ball goes to the open spot. McLennan sends it toward the net. Gador is there, comes off the line. She gets there, no issues. She'll work her way to the 18. Punch to the far side. Lucas trying to control. Lucas does control. Lucas cuts it to the inside, gets by Towns. Lucas now will work her way forward, trying to get a through ball, but defended well by Briggs. Briggs knocks it away, comes over to the near sideline, over to Huckrow. Huckrow will now send a through ball. Hustling is Garrison, back there is Chapman. Chapman controlling, gets by Garrison, and it's Chapman who gets it up to Smith. Smith will turn, but Garrison doesn't give up, comes from behind, knocks the ball loose, and it's picked up by Juno. Juno with the ball, now a through ball, trying to find Langlois, but back there defensively is Marcel, hustling for the ball, but calling for the ball is Gador. She comes off her line. She'll work her way to the 18. We have 1:11 left here in the first half. Chazy leading 1-0. Ball onto the feet of Huckrow. Huckrow sends it forward, deflects off of Smith, out of bounds. Throw in for the Vikings under a minute, just inside the midfield near sideline in the defensive zone of Chazy. Chapman steps up trying to deflect the ball, and a foul on Ballantyne on Chapman, so there'll be a kick coming up for the Eagles. We're at the 42-second mark, and Chazy just taking their time setting this up, almost like they'll be content to go into halftime with that 1-0 lead. We're now approaching 30 seconds. McLennan sends the ball forward. It bounces around to Lauren. Lauren battling the ball high up into the air. McCullough trying to get to the ball, but Hayes is there first. She sends the ball to the far sideline onto the feet of Anderson. Taken away by DeMars, over to McLennan at midfield. McLennan now sends a through ball. Ball's deflected back. McLennan again steps up. We're under 10 seconds. It goes to Huckrow. Huckrow comes to the near sideline, over to Garrison, and they're going to run out of time here. And the Chapman heads it to the ground, and the first half has come to an end. Chazy leading Moriah 1-0. You are listening to the Sports Authority of the North Country, Hometown Radio, WIRY, 1340 AM, or wiry.com, or the app at the Apple Store or Google Play. We'll be back in 90 seconds. And welcome back to the George Brenler Field. I'm Joey Trombley, along with Keith Lobdell. It's Championship Soccer. Halftime, Lady Eagles lead the Vikings 1-0. It's a short halftime. The players are back on the field. This time, Moriah will be going from left to right, Chazy from right to left, and the ball is in play by Valentine. She sends it back onto the feet of Garrison. Garrison sends the ball forward. Back there is for Chazy, and it goes off of Anderson, throw in for Chazy. Ball quickly comes into the feet of Hadley Lucas. Lucas working her way down. Anderson comes in from behind to knock the ball away, but it goes back to Lucas, who gives it up to DeMars. DeMars goes back to Lucas. Lucas gets by Anderson. Now to the open space, it's picked up by Briggs. Briggs with the ball, has some space, working her way forward. She switches field. She goes to the far side to Huckrow. Back there is Smith to try to defend. Smith does a nice job taking away from Huckrow. She keeps a pass forward, trying to find Langlois, but stepping up is Towns. Towns sends it to the middle of the field. It's taken away by McAuliffe. McAuliffe sends it toward midfield, picked up by Juno. Juno goes to the outside to Langlois. Langlois cuts it to the inside. She's now into the offensive territory. Langlois trying to find McAuliffe. Goes by McAuliffe onto the feet of Garrison. Garrison sends the ball forward, goes off of Hayes. Loose ball, now it's McAuliffe. McAuliffe looking to break the defense. McAuliffe is inside the 18. McAuliffe rips a shot. Scores! Ava McAuliffe at the 38:52 second mark. And McAuliffe finds the back of the net. And Chazy goes up 2-0 on McAuliffe. What'd you think of that play, Keith?
I thought you saw a lot of back and forth there, and just a good job of getting a ball, getting it onto your feet, and then making something. And McAuliffe with that speed got into the box, and then just a beautiful finish, putting it far post and past the keeper.
And it was Langlois getting the ball to McAuliffe, who could split the defense. And McAuliffe has that knack to finish for Chazy. And she is their leading goal scorer.
Yeah, she was I think we were looking at that state scorebook earlier in the year. She was the second leading returning scorer in her class in the state. And just like you say, speed, good concentration, good on-ball skills, and like I said, a nose for the goal, which sometimes can't be coached. So just an excellent goal and a high-quality shot.
And McAuliffe back defensively clears the ball forward, but it goes on to the feet of Towns. Towns sends it toward the goal line, and they will let it. Gagno comes in and grabs the ball, and she'll just work her way to the 18 to take the punt for Chazy. And quickly at the 38:52 mark, McAuliffe doubles the score for Chazy. It's now a 2-0 lead for the Lady Eagles. And as this day has progressed, it's really beautiful out here today. It's like the sun has come out. We hadn't seen that in a while. And beautiful day, a little bit of wind, but it's not a bad day for a soccer game, Keith.
No, not at all. It's exactly what you'd expect for this week in November. And it's something we've talked about a little bit is, this would be the regional finals week.
Or the Final Four.
Yeah, but this is, these teams are playing really late October soccer right now when you look at the timeline. And I think to see how teams have come so far so quickly is says a lot to the coaches. It says a lot to these players who have been really committed to this season.
So the Vikings were coming down and the ball went off the end line. So they're getting their first corner kick, and it's going to be Valentine. They're going from left to right, so it's the near post. Valentine will serve the ball. And there's a wasted opportunity. It goes off the end line, and I'm sure McKenna Valentine would love to have that one back.
Oh, absolutely. She's very solid with those kicks. She's very solid at the low angle and putting something in that they can do something with.
So it'll be a goal kick for Chazy, and it's going to be, it looks like Smith taking the kick. She does. It's a short kick. It goes onto the feet of Hers. Hers keeps it on the ground to McLennan. McLennan will work her way to midfield. She comes to the near sideline. She finds Lucas. Lucas takes the ball. She gets by Garrison, but coming over to defend was Hayes. Hayes does a nice job, sends it back into Chazy territory to Valentine. Valentine tried to get it to Anderson, but deflects onto the feet of McLennan. McLennan sends the ball forward, trying to find Lauren. Intercepted by Lucas. Lucas will now send the ball to the 18, trying to find Juno and Langlois. It bounces to the far side. It's picked up by Towns. Towns has it taken away by Langlois, pushed off the ball, and Anderson pushed Langlois off the ball. So here's a good opportunity for the Eagles. They get a direct kick, and they're probably 35, 40 yards out. But Lucas has a strong foot and a strong leg, and she can find the net.
Yes, I think Lucas is someone that over these last 2 years I've watched, and at times I think she has the ability to take over games at times.
Well, it's Lucas. She's calling for it, and she's ripping a hard shot toward the net, and off the line was Gador. She gets there in time, and she'll work her way to the 18. She punts the ball up toward midfield. It bounces around. The ball's headed by DeMars. DeMars is being challenged by Anderson, and DeMars sends it forward, trying to find Juno. And we have a whistle on DeMars, a foul called on DeMars. So we have a direct kick coming up for the Vikings just inside midfield, closer to the near sideline, and it's going to be Valentine taking the kick.
And once again, you see Garrison pushing up here as Valentine will take the kick.
And the ball goes through, and Gagnon called for it. Mackenzie Chapman was there, and I think she heard Gagnon calling for the ball. And the ball goes into Gagnon's hands, and she has a nice punt just shy of midfield, trying to find McCullough. That goes off of the head of who's that, Baker? The Baker sends the ball forward, finds Anderson. Anderson has it knocked away from behind by McLennan. McLennan looking to keep the ball in play. Chips it up over to Lucas. Lucas trying to take it off of Garrison. She does, and it's Lucas working her way down. Garrison hustling back, knocks it from behind, but it goes to McCullough. McCullough comes to the near sideline, and she finds Lauren. Lauren has the ball taken away by Marcel. She knocks it off the sideline, so it's going to be a throw-in for Chazy halfway into the defensive zone of Moriah. Chazy is going from right to left, so near sideline, it's going to be Hadley Lucas. Lucas with the throw-in. She's trying to get the ball over to Lauren. Lauren chips it, it deflects back into the feet of McLennan. McLennan has some room, some space, trying to find McCullough, and the ball's cleared out, and it goes on to the feet of Briggs. Briggs goes to the far side, finds Huckrow. Huckrow being challenged by Smith. Smith cutting it to the outside. Smith cuts it back to the inside. Nice work by Smith. Now she gets it to Juno. Juno, quick pass over to Langlois. Langlois going down the far sideline. Langlois pushes it toward the end line. Juno trying to get there in time, but cannot get there, so it goes off the end line. So we have a goal kick for the Vikings, and Gador will give the ball up to her defense, who will set the play up, and it is going to be Baker, Sage Baker, setting the ball up for the Vikings. We're at 33:04 in the second half. It's Chazy 2, Moriah nothing in this Fall Classic championship game. Ball is pushed back to number 12. Briggs tries to send it forward to Anderson, and it's DeMar sends it to Lucas. Lucas takes a shot from distance, and that was kind of a weird, dangerous shot. Bounced up. Gador was there, but it almost like a Phil Necro knuckleball.
Yeah, exactly. You like having the tall keeper at that point. But I mean, with these two wing midfielders for Chazy, obviously it's good to see Langlois out there this year after not seeing her last year. And Lucas just, again, I mean, last year it seemed like she was always in the mix whenever good things were happening for Chazy. And I know she's the girl last year at sectional championship time we were concerned about. We didn't want her having the ball on her feet because we knew bad things might happen if she had it.
Well, it's Lucas in the play right now, and the ball is sent back. It goes to Briggs. Briggs sends the ball forward into the defensive zone. Chapman is there for Chazy. She gets it by Valentine over to Hers. Hers sends a through ball over to McCullough. McCullough one times it over to Lauren. Lauren turns, and now she'll work her way down the line. Hustling is Hayes. Lauren hustling. Hayes comes from behind, takes it away from behind. Lauren still battling. She cuts it to the inside. Lauren tries to rip the ball forward, and it goes off of number 11, Marcel. Throw in for Chazy. At the 31-36 second mark, Chazy is halfway into the defensive zone of the Vikings. It is Lucas. Lucas sends the ball down the line, trying to find Lauren. And the ball goes off of number 8, Hayes. Hayes does a nice job from keeping it going off the end line. There's a slide kick off the sideline. So a deep throw in for Chazy. Close to the corner, near corner post. They're going from right to left.
Looks like they're going corner.
And they're calling a corner kick now, so it did go off the end line. So it's going to be Hadley Lucas taking the corner kick for Chazy. The players are setting up. Lucas is surveying the situation. And now Lucas is ready to let the ball fly. It's a short kick on the short side. It goes through everybody, and it goes into the hands of Gador. Gador will work her way to the 18 and quickly punch the ball. They're looking for a transition. Valentine off her head goes to the far sideline. She gets it on to the feet of Huckrow. Huckrow is being challenged by Hers. Hers does a nice job taking away at midfield. Hers far sideline trying to find Juno, gets ahead of Juno, and the ball is sent forward by Allen. Picked up by Hers. Hers gets it to Juno. Juno turns. Juno cuts it back to the inside. Juno sends it forward, trying to get it to Lauren, but it goes through everybody. Gador comes off the line, grabs the ball, and she'll work her way to the 18. Gador with the punt. Short punt, picked up by McLennan. McLennan controlling the ball, working her way to the 18. A through ball, trying to get Lauren or Juno. Juno come with the ball. Juno off her line is Gador, and Juno scores! And that's 3-0 at the 29:59 second mark. It is Juno, and I'll tell you, Celine Juno, Gador came out, but again, Juno is one of those, she's a senior,
Yeah.
doesn't panic, and she just walked that ball in.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, that nose for the goal mentality, and obviously being started by McLennan, being able to get that first touch on the ball, settle it. That's something that doesn't happen a lot. People get that first touch and they try to do something off that first touch. She took the time, had the patience, saw she had the open field, and that led to a beautiful ball in, which once again, it was just, I think it was want to right there. And that's exactly what Juno did. She had the want to, she got the touch, and then once she got that touch, it was just a matter of tapping it into the net.
So Chazy goes up 3-0 in this championship game. We're under 30 minutes. And down at midfield, McAuliffe goes down, Anderson goes down, and the foul is called on McAuliffe. So the Vikings will get a direct kick just inside midfield, and they're going from left to right. And it's Garrison sends the ball forward to Valentine. Valentine is defended well by Hers. Ball's pushed into the open space. It's picked up by Lucas. Lucas now going toward midfield, being challenged by Valentine, and she sends a long kick out to the outside, trying to find Juno, who just scored the third goal of the game. Juno with the ball, sends the ball across to the 18, finds McCullough. McCullough trying to get a shot off, sends it to the outside, kind of spins away, and it stays inside, picked up by Juno. Juno comes back to Langlois. Langlois, open space to McLennan. McLennan back to Langlois. Langlois keeps it in, but she's being challenged by Towns. Towns knocks it out of bounds. So some good effort by Chazy. It's almost like they're picking up the pace as if they're trailing this game.
Yeah, it seems like they've gotten some confidence, especially being able to score those 2 goals here in the second half. And this is the postseason, preseason type of tournament, but it's still a tournament, and they're looking like we need to make this thing sure and really put the capper on it.
So right now Chazy is playing like they're trailing this game. The ball is in Moriah territory, and the ball is cleared out by the defense. So it is going to be Chazy with the throw-in, as it was knocked out of bounds by Garrison, and it's going to be Damaris with the throw-in. She gets it to McAuliffe. McAuliffe has it knocked away by Anderson, and McAuliffe will be called for the foul. She tried to get by Anderson and it took her down, so it'll be a throw or a kick for the Vikings, and it's going to be Garrison taking the kick for the Moriah Vikings. Ball is sent forward, goes off the feet of Damaris over to Smith. Smith has it knocked away. It goes into the feet of Valentine. Valentine being challenged by, and here's Valentine. Here's her chance, and good play by Gagno. Gagno comes off the line as Valentine split the defense of Hers and Chapman, and it was Gagno coming up big because Valentine could have scored on that.
I think you almost go back and see that the same as the save Gador made in the first half. Gagno makes the right call, comes out on that ball, doesn't give her time to think about placing a shot, and as we have a player here, but makes a huge save there, and give Valentine credit for being able to get past both Hers and Chapman to get that shot off.
Oh, that was an impressive play by Valentine to get by those 2 defenders. And if Gagno would have stayed on the line, I think that might have been a goal for the Vikings. Ball is in play. It's McAuliffe at midfield. She goes opposite field, far side to Langlois. Langlois now a give and go, trying to find Juno, but a good job by Baker to come over to defend. She knocks it to the far side. It will work its way out of bounds, but a good play by Baker. Throw in for Chazy, and Langlois quickly gets the ball into Lauren. Lauren sends it back to Langlois. Langlois will now look to serve. It deflects off the defense, and it's picked up by number 10, Huckrow. Huckrow has it taken away by McLennan. McLennan working her way to the 18. McLennan has it knocked away from behind by Huckrow. And now Langlois shot from distance, and holding her ground was Gador. Gador waits for the ball to come in, cradles it, works her way to the 18. Gador sends the ball up shy of midfield with a quick punt. Back there is Hers battling for the ball along with number 10, Huckrow. Huckrow turns. Huckrow goes down, and there'll be a whistle on Chazy, a foul on Willow Hers. We're at the 25:56 second mark. If you're just joining us in this second game of the day, it's Chazy 3, Moriah 0. And earlier today on the George Bremler field, it was the Chazy boys beating their arch rival, the Boquet Valley Griffins, 3-0. They are the fall champion, and the Chazy girls would like nothing more than to follow the boys with a championship game. Ball is at midfield. McAuliffe sends the ball forward. It is Juno. Hustling back there defensively is Marcel. Marcel cannot get to the ball, so we have a corner kick for Chazy at the 25-20 mark, going to the far sideline to take the kick. They're going to let Haley Lauren take the corner kick for Chazy. They're going from right to left. It's the far post. Lauren will take the kick for the corner kick for Chazy. Lauren setting up, letting her players set up, and here comes the play. Lauren serves the ball. It's a short kick into the box. Smith trying to get a shot off. She does. It's defended well by Allen. She sends it outside the 18 to the open space. Hustling back is Hers. Goes on to the feet of Valentine. Valentine quickly gets it to Anderson. Anderson will switch fields. She finds Huckrow. Huckrow now working her way down. She puts a pass off to her the far side to Towns. Towns sends the ball forward. Off the line is Gagno. So Gagno will work her way to the 18. 24:30 to go in the second half. Chazy leading 3-0. They lead in the shot category 12-6, and the corner kicks are tied at 2-2. It is on the far side. It is Langlois. Langlois cuts it to the inside, and it's picked up by number 14, Towns. Towns has it knocked away by McLennan. McLennan working her way to the outside, trying to find Juno. Gets by Juno, picked up by Lauren. Lauren chips it back to Juno to McAuliffe. McAuliffe will send it to the box. Lauren trying to get a shot off. It's defended well by Garrison. McAuliffe knocks it away. Hustling for the ball is Lauren. Lauren cuts it to the inside. Lauren has it knocked away. Goes to McLennan. And a foul called on Lauren. So Moriah will get the kick back there. I didn't quite see that, but the call went against Chazy.
Yeah, I don't know when the other coach is the one yelling no way. I think you know where they thought it was going, but obviously contact there. But yeah, I don't know if there was contact deserving of a foul.
Ball is back in play on the ground to McAuliffe. McAuliffe cuts it to the inside. McAuliffe trying to get by the defense and defended well by Marcel. Marcel knocks it forward onto the feet of Huckrow. Huckrow turns, sends it to the feet of Valentine. Valentine will come to the near sideline. A through ball over to Anderson. Anderson working her way down. Coming to help out is Chapman as well as DeMars. The ball is sent toward the net. Valentine was crashing in, but it was Gagno coming off the line. Gets to the ball first, works her way to the 18.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good ball to get it to the outside by Valentine. Just the ball a little too close to the goalie box, and Gagno coming out and making the play.
So Lucas with the ball pushes it back to DeMars. DeMars has it knocked off of her by Anderson, so it's going to be a throw-in for the Vikings. And checking in for the Vikings is Shobi, if I have said that right.
I am not 100% sure. I always say Shub, but
Is it Shub? Okay. We'll call. Well, I don't. Sarah, I apologize if I messed up your last name, but we'll say Shub.
Likewise.
We'll say Shub, and it's 22-60, and the ball comes into play. And defensively, nice play by Hers. Ball's pushed out, and Shub, who's just checked into the game, sends it to the opposite, to the far side, and it's picked up by Chazy. The ball goes to McAuliffe. McAuliffe quickly gets it to Juno. Juno at midfield. Calling for the ball is Lucas on the far sideline, and they try to get it to her. It was intercepted by the defense of Moriah, and it is Allen sends it toward midfield. Back there is Hers. Hers cuts it up to the inside, gets it to Lucas. Lucas now trying to get it to McCullough. McCullough at midfield, a simple pass back to McLennan. McLennan now working her way to the 18. McLennan gets a shot from distance.
That's big.
McLennan scores! McLennan from about 22 yards out went top shelf, and Chazy goes up 4-0. So, Keith, talk us through that goal.
Well, I think really right there, you get the possession and it gets on McLennan's foot, and I just think that was, she had space, she had time, and you just go ahead and launch that shot, and that was just pretty. Nice arcer right over the head of Gador, and like we said, she's a tall goalie, so you have to have a nice high shot to get it over, and just a beautiful conversion.
And that goal was assisted by McCullough, and that was a goal that not many goalies would have saved. That was just upper 90, and no chance for Gador. Just a beautiful shot by McLennan, and it's now 4-0 Chazy. And it's McCullough. Cuts it back to the inside. She's going to the outside to Lucas. Lucas cuts it to the inside. Lucas at the 18. She gets a shot off, and Gador is there. And what I'm impressed with Chazy is that they're just keep coming. They got a 4-0 lead, and they're playing like the game is tied.
Yeah, I think that they've definitely used the goals as momentum, and they're not going to slow down. I mean, it's the end of the year. There's no reason to slow down right now. It's a championship game, and they're playing it like a championship game.
We're approaching the 20-minute mark, 20 minutes and 42 seconds. Of course, on or around or near the 20-minute mark, we're going to have a mask break, and Gagno comes up with the ball. She gets it to McLennan. McLennan just scored the 4th goal for Chazy. She pushes it back to Smith. They find Juno. Juno one-times it to Langlois. Langlois back to Juno. So the triangle has been working the whole game between Langlois and Juno. But back there defending is Marcel. Marcel takes the ball away from Juno. Coming to help out is Langlois, but it's Marcel still with the ball. She sends it down the line, far sideline, but it's Chapman for Chazy, the sweeper. She's there first. Chapman has space. She now tries, and she does a nice job. She takes it off of Huckrow, and at 19:58, they're going to take the mask break, and it's 4 for Chazy. Moriah has 0. 15 shots favor Chazy. 6 shots favor Moriah. Corner kicks are 2-2. We'll be back in 1 minute as you're listening to the Sports Authority of the North Country, Hometown Radio, WIRY 1340A, Middletown, New York, or Portland for the girls. So it is neat in some ways to have these championships local. I know it's not state championship games, Keith, but the games are local, and it's nice that the teams are, and all the teams are playing in November, which doesn't happen to most teams, but it's nice that all teams are able to play in November.
Yeah, I agree, and I think, again, watching toward the end of this year, these teams have all risen to play pretty near November soccer, given only a month to do that. We were just barely talking about there was no preseason, there were no this is basically your preseason tournament, and it's at the end of the year, and these teams have all played well. I mean, to see the progression that the two Chazy teams have made, to see the progression that Moriah's made throughout the year. A lot of these schools, I mean, I look down, of course, where I live and where I coached, the Boquet Valley team was playing both Boquet Valley teams were playing their best soccer at the end of the year. And there's a lot to be said for the coaches and these players who committed to the year, and obviously administrators, superintendents, athletic directors. There's a lot of people to thank for getting this off the ground and going for everyone. Looks like Lizardi's now in net.
Yeah, I see that Lizardi is in net. She'll take the Lady Eagles home here for the final 20 minutes, and just a wonderful job by Gagno in net. Strong player. She's actually playing a fullback position right now, left fullback actually for Chazy, and Lizardi has spent a lot of time in net this year too, so it's nice to see this young lady get some championship action.
Exactly, and I think they've both done a really decent job. I remember Gagnon was in at the beginning of the year, and my wife Jill was the first one to watch a Chazy game, and she told me that, and I'm sitting there trying to think, well, I've watched her for 2 years on modified, and I've never once seen her in the net, so this has got to be a new and fun experience for her, and she's definitely lived up to the challenge, and Lazardi's had a good year as well.
And we have 18:55 to go. Ball is right below us, and quickly it comes into play by Marcel. And Gagnon defends well as it goes off of Anderson. She shielded the ball, so throw in for Chazy, and Gagnon will take the throw in for Chazy. She sends it into Lucas. Lucas turns, now sends it to the middle of the field, trying to find Juno. Juno has the ball. She switches fields to the far sideline. Into the game for Chazy is Jenna Collins. Collins has it knocked away. Smith for Chazy back there, trying to get to the ball, but she's being challenged by Huckrow. Smith and Huckrow battling for the ball. Smith pushes it back to Chapman. Chapman now will send the ball forward, but it's intercepted by Towns. Towns gets a shot wide of the net, so a goal kick for Chazy at the 18:07 mark. And there are some newer players out there for Chazy. Abby Huckrow is out into the game, and we'll names up for these girls. Jenna Collins is out for Chazy. Gagnon is out of net. Lazardi is in. Gagnon is playing fullback. Ball is sent forward by Hers. Deflected into the open space. Ball headed by Chapman. Now it goes to Valentine. Valentine to the 18, trying to get a shot off. Lazardi comes off her line, and she loses it, but it's cleared out of bounds by McAuliffe. So Lazardi came off her line. On the weak side was Anderson, and luckily McAuliffe was there to clear the ball off the end line. So a corner kick coming up for Moriah. So a good opportunity for the Vikings.
Yeah, they're going to have a good opportunity here, but I think that showed once again, not only don't slow up when a shot's taken, but don't slow up as a defender either, because McAuliffe was right there to get that ball. I mean, that was an emergency out that led to a corner kick, but an emergency out's a lot better than a ball in the back of the net.
Oh, absolutely. Any coach would like to have this corner kick given up and the goal given up, and it is Valentine with the corner kick for the Vikings. Nice kick across the line. This is dangerous, and that ball deflects off of number 10 Huckrow wide of the net. And that was just a nice feed by Valentine on that corner kick.
Yeah, I think that obviously more than the last one on this side, that one showed what she's capable of doing. And yeah, just a matter of trying to get feet there and on the crash. I think a lot of times, and there's sometimes that these teams will just place their players. And I think a lot has to be said for crashing and being in motion as the ball comes into the box.
The ball is cleared out, and the ball is at the 18. Gagnon for Chazy chips it up to the near sideline, trying to find Lucas. Gets by Lucas. It's picked up by Marcel. Marcel keeps it simple over to Briggs. Briggs now sends the ball forward, and it is Hers does a nice job. Deflects the ball, gets it to McAuliffe, and Baker steps up to send the ball forward. And Baker goes down, and the whistle goes against Chazy. So Baker will get a direct kick, or I should say the Vikings will get a direct kick. Valentine will come back to take the kick for the Vikings. And we're waiting for the whistle, and here we go. Valentine, large kick, goes in, bounces up, and Lazardi's there. There's no danger. Lazardi comes off her line. The ball bounces into her hands. She'll work her way to the 18. Lazardi, short kick, finds McAuliffe. McAuliffe turns, but it's picked up by Valentine. Valentine has it knocked away by McAuliffe to the near sideline, picked up by Lucas. Lucas takes it off of number 11, Marcel. Throw in for the Eagles. If you're just joining us, it's Chazy 4, Moriah 0, as we approach the 15-minute mark. And just below us at the press box is Lucas with the throw-in.
That's a good throw.
She gets it over the head of Marcel. And for Chazy, Abby Huckle trying to get the ball. She gives it up to McAuliffe. McAuliffe chips it back, trying to find number 10, Huckrow, and Juno pushes it back to McAuliffe. McAuliffe ripping a shot, but it goes off of Briggs, back to McLennan. McLennan trying to rip the shot. Again, it goes off of Briggs, deflects toward midfield onto the feet of Garrison. Garrison turns, and as she takes a shot off of Hers, comes to the near sideline, and that ball is sent forward from Shub, off of Hers, back to Shub. And the handball on Hers So the Vikings will get a direct, well, I guess a direct kick. No, actually, it's not a direct kick, is it, on a handball?
I believe. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It is, yeah, it's a direct
Yep.
kick. All right, the ball is sent forward, and it is Gagno. Gagno sends the ball forward to Juno. Juno trying to find Collins and Huckrow, and now it's McAuliffe. McAuliffe's trying to break the defense. She's at the 18. McAuliffe rips a shot, and going down was Gador. She smothers that ball, and she'll work her way to the 18. We're now 13:43. Chazy leading 4-0 in this fall championship game at the George Brenner Field. And it is Shub. Shub sends it forward, and it is picked up by Hers. Hers gets it over to McLennan, to Lucas. Lucas sends it forward, and that ball is cleared out by Baker. So throw in for Chazy. They're about halfway into the defensive zone of the Vikings. They're going from right to left. Near sideline is Hadley Lucas. Lucas, ball comes into play. It deflects off of Marcel. Controlled by Lucas, back to McLennan. McLennan shot from distance.
Another good ball.
And that short hops Gador. Juno was there, but Gador picks it up. She'll work her way to the 18. Langlois is ready to check into the game, as well as Kayleen Billow. Ball is chipped up toward midfield. Hers heads it to the outside to McLennan. McLennan trying to keep it inside, and that goes out of bounds. Throw in for Anderson. Anderson gets the ball into Garrison. Garrison has it taken away by Hers from behind, but it goes onto the feet of Briggs. Back to McLennan to midfield, and the ball is sent forward, picked up by Hers. Hers off the head of McCullough, but it goes onto the feet of Marcel. She sends it toward midfield. It is McLennan with the ball. McLennan will cut it to the inside. She'll push it back to Gagno. Gagno sends the ball forward. She's trying to find Huckrow. Huckrow controls the ball. Gives it up to Lucas. Lucas has it knocked away by Marcel onto the feet of Anderson. Anderson to the middle of the field. It's Hers. Hers controls the ball, takes it to the middle of the field, goes to the far side. She gets it on to the feet of number 15, Collins. Collins was taken down, so Chazy will get the kick here. Just inside the territory of the Vikings, probably about 4 yards, closer to the far side. McLennan sends the ball forward. Crashing the defense is Juno. Juno takes the shot, and just wide. Celine Juno split the defense. Nice soft shot. Far post, but just missed.
Exactly, and I think that's exactly what you want on a direct kick. You want your kids lined up, ball goes in, and you chase it down. And with that, I mean, this has got to be among one of the fastest front lines in the section. It's definitely within their own league, but within the section. And the two, Juno and McAuliffe, can just chase those things down all day long.
And Reagan Baker has checked into the game, as well as Billow for Chazy, and Langlois is back into the game for the Eagles. We're at 10:51 left in the second half. It's Chazy 4, Moriah 0 in this championship game. The ball is cleared to the outside by Sage Baker, and we're going to have a throw-in for Chazy far sideline. It's going to be Jenna Collins for Chazy. She gives the ball up to McLennan. McLennan with the ball, taking it to the outside, now sending it forward, and that goes off of Baker. So we have a corner kick coming up for Chazy. Chazy going from right to left. It's the far post. McLennan looks like she'll set up for this corner kick as we approach the 10-minute mark. Chazy leading 4-0. They lead in the shot category 18-6, and the corner kicks looks like it will be favoring the Vikings 3-2. Corner kick comes in, short kick, and it is Langlois trying to get a shot off. She chips it forward. There's a shot by number 12, Billow, and a diving Gador saves another goal. Nice shot by Billow. Gador was screened on that ball for a split second, had to go down on the ground to make the save, and did a nice job. McLennan sends it back forward, and it's going to be offsides on Collins. But a nice work by Billow, and it kind of caught Gador by surprise.
Yeah, and that's that right there. You've got something in the box or in the blender. put it on net and see what happens. And definitely Goodor was able to make and that had to be pretty much last second because that was a fingertip save right there to keep it from going in and making it 5-0.
So here's the goal kick. Baker sends the ball forward. McLennan steps up, kind of chips it into the air, and it's picked up on the far side by Allen. She knocks it out on the sideline. So we have substitutions, and coming into the game for the first time is Kira Blaze as well as Lexi Clark. Coming out is Gagno. Gagno had a wonderful game for the Eagles in net and defensively. And also coming out of the game is number 15, Jenna Collins. Ball is in play. McLennan now will send the ball to the 18. It just gets by Huckrow and defended by Marcil. Marcil clears the ball out. Now it's picked up by Billow. Billow sends it back to Langlois. Langlois cuts it over to McLennan. McLennan with the ball switches fields to the far sideline. She gets Huckrow. Huckrow coming down, sends the ball forward. Chips it into the air toward the end line. Baker defending. And the ball's cleared outside the 18. There's a shot by hers. And there's the save by Gador. But nice job defensively for hers coming in, taking that shot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good from a stopper position to read the play and be active on the play and just put it back in on net, and hopefully good things happen and a quality shot and a quality save.
Ball is just outside the 18. It's cleared forward by Marcil. She gets it onto the feet of Garrison. Garrison working her way down. She has Valentine. Goes to the outside. Back there is Chapman. So you have two All-Stars defending, one trying to score. And there's the shot by scores! And Valentine turns on Chapman and goes over the net of Lazardi. Lazardi had no chance on that. It was far post, nothing but net.
No, and once again, that's something that we've talked about throughout the game is Valentine's ability to score at almost any level, and once again a low angle shot that she's able to put over the head, and a good job by Garrison to get the ball and to make that run.
So Moriah gets on the board. It's 4-1, and it was Valentine, and that is no surprise. That young lady knows how to finish. She is their top goal getter, and she scores for the Vikings. It's now 4-1.
And we're going to have a direct kick here.
So a direct kick coming up for the Vikings, a foul on the Eagles, and you're a handball. So you're going to have Valentine again from distance. She rips another shot, and Lazardi is there. Good play by Lazardi, holding her ground. And you had this thought that Valentine was going to try to go top shelf on Lazardi.
Yeah, I think from that distance, she definitely has the green light, and it's just a matter of Lazardi making a good play there and letting the ball come into her and almost playing it like you would a bunt in softball, just letting it deaden and then picking it up.
So the ball is at midfield, far sideline, thrown by the Vikings. And Garrison gets the assist on the Valentine goal. 4-1 Chazy with 6:24 left to go in the second half. Ball sent forward by Towns. Coming off her line is Lazardi. And she'll take her time working her way to the 18. Lazardi gets the kick up. It's just shy of midfield. It's picked up by Juno. Juno pushes it back. She gets it onto the feet of Emma Smith. And the ball is sent back. Back there is Chapman. Chapman cuts it to the outside. She's being challenged by Valentine. And she tries to take it off of Valentine, but it doesn't. It goes out of bounds. So a throw-in for the Vikings. Valentine with the throw-in. And it lands inside the box. And the Eagles keep it in from going off the end line. And nice play by number 14. It looked like Kira Blaze taking it off of the Moriah defender. So we have a goal kick for Chazy.
Yeah, and I think from what I've seen a lot of, this year's been the year of that pullback with the bottom of your foot, and that pullback by Chapman there leads to the goal kick. She's able to pull it back, and then when trying to clear it, it deflects off a Moriah player and it's a goal kick. So definitely a smart play there to keep it in, and keep the clock rolling and make Moriah have to make a contact on it.
So the ball is in play from the goal kick. It's just outside the 18 of Chazy. Hers is there for Chazy. But the ball is sent forward by Briggs. Coming off her line is Lazardi. She'll get to the ball first. And she'll take her time working her way to the 18 as the clock is in Chazy's favor as they lead 4-1 with under 5 minutes to go. The ball goes off of the head of McLennan, and it goes on Langlois. Langlois sends it out to the far sideline trying to find Juno. Juno's defended by Allen. Juno with the ball. Also coming to help out on the far sideline was Reagan Baker. Baker hustling gets the ball forward to Briggs. Briggs into Chazy territory, far sideline. It goes off of Smith. Quick throw-in goes off the head of Chapman into the open space, and Langlois kicks it out of bounds on the sideline, so it'll be another throw-in for Moriah, and it will be Briggs. Avery Briggs will take the throw-in for the Vikings as we approach the 4-minute mark. Ball comes into play. It's McLennan, sends it toward midfield, intercepted by Juno. Juno trying to find McCullough. Too far ahead of McCullough. It goes on the feet of Marcel, but McCullough challenging Marcel. And the ball goes out of play off of Anderson. So throw in for Chazy. Billow gets the ball into McCullough. McCullough takes it off of Marcel. And they say it went off of McCullough, so it's a throw in for Moriah, and Marcel gets the throw in. Billow chips it back. McCullough high in the air trying to get her own pass to herself. It's McCullough, heads it down the line. She gets past Shu. McCullough trying to cut it to the inside by Marcel. She'll send it across the field, across the 18, as she is trying to find, it looks like Collins, or actually it is Clark. Lexi Clark with the ball, sends it forward to Juno. Juno being defended by Allen. Juno still with the ball, deflects off of Baker to McCullough. McCullough tries to turn and get a shot off, but is defended well. The ball is sent forward, it deflects off of Shub. Shub sends it forward, and it's picked up by number 2, Hers. Hers goes to the far sideline, but back there defensively is Allen. Allen trying to defend Clark, and it goes off the end line, so a good shield by Allen. So we have a goal kick. We have 2 minutes and 43 seconds left in the second half. Chazy 4, Moriah 1 at the George Brendler Field. Ball is sent forward. It's a short kick. It's picked up by Allen. Allen goes to the outside, and Baker can't get there in time, so it goes off the sideline. Throw in for the Eagles. It's Emma Smith. Smith for Chazy. Throw into play. It goes to Juno. Juno turns. Now trying to find McCullough. McCullough trying to split the defense. Coming off her line is Gador. Smart play by Gador with the streaking McCullough. Gets to the ball first, and the punt is quick. It's in play into Chazy territory, and that will work off the end line off the Chazy defense. So it'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. It is Valentine asking for the ball. Under 2, Valentine with the throw-in. Ball comes into play. It goes off of Hers, and Hers has it deflected off herself as Valentine knocks it off of her. Another throw-in for the Vikings. Shots favor Chazy 20-8 as they lead 4-1. Ball comes into play. It's Hers. Hers deflects off of Hers, goes back to Valentine. Turn and a shot by number 9 Garrison off the end line. So that's going to be a goal kick for Chazy. I'm sure they'll take their time setting this up as we're now a minute 24 left in the the game, Keith.
Yeah, minute 24 left in the game, and in the season for these two teams. I think that last shot kind of was one of those we're down 4-1 late shots, but no, I think a well-played game by both of these teams, and Chazy definitely deserving of this win. They definitely had a high level of play and some top-shelf goals, and I think both of these games would have most likely been your D final. I mean, Willsboro would probably had some say in that as well, and obviously they played earlier this week, and the boys' side and Boquet on the girls' side would have had some say, but this is probably something you could say that if this season would have played out like a regular season, once again, you would have seen the green and white bringing home sectional titles.
Well, it is McCullough. As we're getting down to the final 30 seconds, she has it knocked away. It's picked up by Towns. Towns sends it forward. It goes off of Willow Hers. Ball is sent toward the net from distance from Briggs. No problem for Lazardi. She comes off her line and she cradles that. We're in the final 18 seconds. The punt is high in the air. It goes to Towns, far sideline. Towns controlling the play. She turns around, but it's McLennan. McLennan sending the ball forward. That goes off of Towns. And the ball is going toward the 18. Off the line is Lazardi. Lazardi pushes it off to the side, and this game is in the books. We'll be back for our post-game show. You are listening to the Sports Authority of the North Country Hometown Radio, 1340 AM, wiry.com, or if you can get the app at the App Store or Google Play. We're going to be back in 30 seconds.
I'll keep an eye on them. I'll have to go grab a news here.